Behold the latest military news update. This is AFP Community News, hosted by Rofh Suzon every 12 noon, Mondays to Fridays. Only here on DWDD Armed Forces Radio. One AFP for a stronger Philippines.
PCG assists injured China Coast Guard crew after collision in West Philippine Sea. Philippines reasserts West Philippine Sea sovereignty. Fuel prices cut by up to 1 peso and 50 centavos per liter today. PBB launches website listing all government flood control projects.
Hello to everyone, especially to our troops at Camp Emilio Ginaldo in Quezon City. Today is Tuesday, August 12, and this is AFP Community News, your source for the updates on the armed forces and other developments across the country. I am Rofh Suzon-Abay here to bring you today's stories. DWDD Armed Forces News. And for the brief overview of our news, the Philippine Coast Guard successfully evaded a water cannon attack from a China Coast Guard vessel during a mission to assist Filipino fishermen in Bajo de Masinloc. PCG spokesperson Commodore J. Tariela said BRP Suluan avoided the hit through the crew's seamanship skills despite the hazardous maneuvers and blocking actions by Chinese ships. He reported no damage or injuries to Philippine vessels. The PCG deployed BRP Teresa Magbanua, BRP Suluan, and MV Pamamalakaya to deliver supplies to 35 fishing vessels under the Kadiwa pa sa Bagong Bayaning Mangingisda Initiative. DWDD Armed Forces News. Relatedly, the Philippine Coast Guard extended immediate medical aid to injured China Coast Guard crew members after their vessel collided with the People's Liberation Army Navy warship. The collision caused by the CCG's hazardous maneuvers during the Kadiwa pa sa Bagong Bayaning Mangingisda Initiative left the CCG vessel heavily damaged and unseaworthy. Despite the incident, the PCG successfully delivered supplies to 35 Filipino fishing boats in Scarborough Shoal. PCG reaffirmed its commitment to safe maritime operation. On the other line, it is hear more from Spencer about 27 IB earns trained rating in battalion evaluation, shifts focus to external defense.
Yes, Rofh, the 27th Infantry Battalion successfully completed the Battalion Evaluation and Certification Program at the Combat Readiness Training Area in Bukidnon. The rigorous drills tested rapid mobilization, sustainment operations, tactical decision-making, and coordination across warfighting domains. Furthermore, Rofh, with its focus now shifting from internal security to external defense, the battalion is preparing to safeguard the country's territorial boundaries against emerging foreign threats. Philippine Army assessors rated the unit trained, affirming its readiness, discipline, and capability to defend the nation. This is Spencer, reporting for AFP Community News. One AFP for a stronger Philippines.
Thank you, Spencer.
DWDD Armed Forces News.
Moreover, Defense Secretary Gilberto Teodoro Jr. said the Philippines will act decisively to protect its sovereignty and sovereign rights in the West Philippine Sea while avoiding war or confrontation. He stressed that defending the nation's territory is the sacred duty of all Filipinos and not an act of aggression. Secretary Teodoro cited China's actions in disputed waters as challenges that cannot be ignored. The Department of National Defense, he vowed and will stand firmly with President Ferdinand Marcos Jr. in this mission.
DWDD Armed Forces News.
Senator Christopher Bongo, Vice Chair of the Senate Committee on National Defense, renewed his commitment to soldiers, other uniformed personnel, and former rebels during the inauguration of Kaakibat Hall at the 39 Infantry Battalion Headquarters in Makilala, Cotabato. The facility will serve as a functional and symbolic space for troops. Go urged the rebels to reintegrate into society and called on the government to provide them with livelihood support. He also reaffirmed his push for continued benefits and salary reforms for uniformed services.
Armed Forces Radio.
Some information from Jai about the Army Reservists mark Rescom anniversary with outreach in Bukidnon.
Yes, Rofh, the 1003rd Community Defense Center and 1003rd Weather Reserve Infantry Battalion conducted an outreach program in Zone 6B in Palambong, Malaybalay City, Bukidnon to mark the 42nd founding anniversary of the Army Reserve Command. The team distributed basic goods and essential items to residents. The activity aimed to strengthen military community ties and promote volunteerism. Locals expressed gratitude for the assistance, citing its impact on community welfare and morale. This is Jai reporting for AFP Community News. One AFP for a stronger Philippines.
Thank you so much, Jai.
DWDD Armed Forces News.
The Northern Luzon Naval Command launched a large-scale exercise in Vigan City, Ilocos Sur to train 135 Philippine Navy reservists for evolving maritime security threats. The program features sea maneuvers, naval tactics, maritime patrols, and land navigation. Subject matter experts will also lead the lectures on specialized naval warfare topics. NLNC said the exercise aims to build a well-prepared and dependable reserve force for the Philippine Navy.
DWDD National News.
And for our national news, good news to our motorists. The prices of petroleum products are poised to decline by as much as 1 peso and 50 centavos per liter today. In separate advisories, Shell and COL announced price cuts of 40 centavos, 1 peso and 50 centavos, and 1 peso and 30 centavos per liter for gasoline, diesel, and kerosene respectively. Jetty, Petrogas, Clean Fuel, and PTT Philippines would apply the same adjustments except for kerosene, which they do not offer. The latest adjustments, which ended the 4-week uptrend for diesel and kerosene, followed the continued uncertainties surrounding U.S. tariff policies.
Armed Forces Radio.
That is your more updates from Gina about clash with Mauti remnants in Lanao do Sur, lives child and woman dead, underage fighters captured.
Yes, Rofh, a government clash with Dawla Islamiyah Mautik Group remnants in Lanao del Sur killed a woman and a child and led to the capture of underage fighters. Philippine National Police Chief General Nicolas Torre III said the joint law enforcement operation also neutralized 3 suspects and wounded 1 soldier. Authorities are preparing charges against the arrested individuals who have pending murder and homicide cases. The military vowed to intensify operations to neutralize the group's remaining members. This is Gina reporting for AFP Community News, One AFP for Stronger Philippines.
Thank you, Gina.
DWDD National News.
President Ferdinand Marcos Jr. launched the Sumbong sa Pangulo, an interactive website dedicated for the audit of all government flood control projects. Marcos said the website sumbongsapangulo.ph is a follow-up to his earlier order to make public all flood mitigation projects initiated since he assumed the office. These include the projects that were started, were finished, and were in progress from the beginning of his term in 2022 up until now. He also gave assurances that he will personally comb through each entry the netizens would send to the website.
DWDD National News.
President Ferdinand Marcos Jr. bared a list of contractors he claimed got the bulk of government flood control projects in the country. According to Marcos, 100 billion pesos of these projects were awarded to them, which he deemed disturbing. But the chief executive clarified that these contractors are not being accused of illegalities yet, but that they are taking a closer look. He also emphasized that this is very necessary as they have to clean their ranks.
Armed Forces Radio.
Let us hear more from Maljoy of First Year G about PCG concludes KBBM initiative in Bajo de Masinloc.
Yes, Rofh, the Philippine Coast Guard wraps up the Kadiwa para sa Bagong Bayaning Mangingisda program amidst the harassment and aggressive actions from the China Coast Guard 3104 and People's Liberation Army Navy 164 within the Philippine Exclusive Economic Zone. The BRP Suluan MRRV 4406 and BRP Teresa Magbanwa MRB 971 has delivered vital fuel subsidies and ice supplies to more than 30 Filipino fishing boats operating in Bajo de Masinloc. This initiative underscores the Philippine Coast Guard's commitment to supporting the livelihoods of Filipino fishermen who have relied on these waters for generations to sustain their families and communities. By providing these essential resources, the program seeks to alleviate the challenges encountered by our dedicated fisherfolk, allowing them to pursue their work with greater safety and security, especially in light of the harassment from the China Coast Guard. The Philippine Coast Guard remains steadfast in its mission to ensure the safety and welfare of all Filipino fishermen. This is Meldra Nesho Oroco reporting for AFP Community News. One AFP for stronger Philippines.
Thank you, Maljoya, for CRG.
DWDD National News.
Metro Manila Council President Mayor Francis Zamora is backing a proposal to transfer the funding for flood control projects from the national government to local government units. Zamora said it would make things faster for them. Under the current setup, flood control funds mostly go to the Department of Public Works and Highways. The San Juan mayor noted that for San Juan, which operates on an annual budget of 3 billion pesos, it would be difficult to finance large-scale flood control projects without the national government support.
DWDD National News.
President Ferdinand Marcos Jr. welcomed the offer of San Miguel Corporation's big boss Ramon Ang to spearhead the efforts to solve the Metro Manila's flooding problem. Marcos said this is the reason why he always emphasized that the private sector needs to be part of everything for the national development. Ang recently said he is awaiting authorization from the government so he could jumpstart large-scale cleaning of Metro Manila's waterways with zero public funds being used. SMC has initiated and completed dredging and desilting operations in Metro Manila, Laguna, Bulacan, and Pampanga under its Better Rivers program since 2020.
Armed Forces Radio.
From our report on the ground, let us hear the report of Gio about Bangsamoro leaders. 11 ID boost cooperation for peace and development in Sulu.
Yes, Rofh, Bangsamoro Parliament Deputy Speaker Ustads Abdul Karim Tan Miswari and his delegation visited Major General Leonardo I. Peña, commander of the 11th Infantry Alakdan Division in Hulu Sulu yesterday. The meeting strengthened collaboration between the 11th ID and Bangsamoro leadership on peace, security, and community development. Both sides discussed potential joint projects to promote stability and socio-economic growth in the province. Major General Peña thanked the officials for their support and stressed the need for collective action to sustain peace gains. This is Gio reporting for AFP Community News, one AFP for stronger Philippines.
Thank you, Gio.
DWDD National News.
For other national news, the National Electrification Administration has reaffirmed its commitment to energize all last-mile schools across the country within the next 3 years. NEA Administrator Antonio Mariano Almeda called for support for electric cooperatives to fulfill the mandate. Almeda said he promised President Ferdinand Marcos Jr. that an initial 295 schools would be energized before the end of 2025. After the 295 schools, the agency still has 1,900 more to complete before the end of President's term in 2028.
DWDD National News.
Department of Social Welfare and Development spokesperson Assistant Secretary Irene Dumlao said the Pantawid Pamilya Pilipino program is not just about providing cash grants, but it is also equips poor households with knowledge and skills to break the intergenerational cycle of poverty. Dumlao emphasized that more than the conditional cash grants that they are receiving, the program is trying to promote a social behavioral change. She explained that the government is giving them the opportunity to value education and health, as well as being part of nation-building activities like digitalization. The DSWD official added that one of the program's key tools for behavioral transformation is the family development sessions or monthly meetings where beneficiaries learn about responsible parenting, health and nutrition, disaster preparedness, and values formation, among others.
Armed Forces Radio.
More updates from China about 36 Army reservists complete water search and rescue practical training.
Yes, Rofh, 36 reservists from the Medic Platoon of Charlie Company 402nd Ready Reserve Infantry Battalion completed practical exercises for water search and rescue training at the Reserve Command Training School. The drills tested skills learned in classroom sessions, including recognizing emergencies, calling for help, and executing non-contact and in-water rescues. Instructors also trained participants in specialized techniques for rivers, oceans, and floods. The training aims to enhance the reservist readiness to save lives in aquatic emergencies. This is Shaina Araneta reporting for AFP Community News, 1 AFP for a stronger Philippines.
Thank you, Shaina.
DWDD National News.
Meanwhile, the Department of Health reported that the emergency room overcapacity at the Philippine General Hospital has eased significantly from 400% to 98%. This came after patient transfers to other government hospitals and the activation of fast lanes for leptospirosis and dengue cases. DOH Assistant Secretary Albert Domingo emphasized that the PGH overcapacity issue is more manageable despite the hospital still being nearly full. The DOH earlier attributed the surge in leptospirosis cases in recent flooding.
DWDD National News.
For our weather update, Pag-asa reported severe tropical storm Goryo has decelerated, but the possibility of raising storm signals in northern Luzon remains. In its 5 p.m. bulletin, Pag-asa said Goryo slightly slowed as it moved west-southwestward over the Philippine Sea. Pag-asa Administrator Nathaniel Servando said the severe tropical storm is unlikely to directly affect the country within the next 3 days. However, in the event of a further southward shift in the forecast track, hoisting of signal number 1 over extreme northern Luzon is not ruled out.
Armed Forces Radio.
From 7 CRG, let us hear from Noreen about 7 CRG conducts Serbisyo Caravan for local fisherfolk of Navotas City.
Good morning. The CMO team Navotas of the 7th Civil Relations Group conducted a Serbisyo Caravan on August 9, 2025 at the Barangay NBBS Kaunlaran Multipurpose Hall with the theme Serbisyong Alay ng Gobyerno para sa ikauunlad ng pamumuhay ng mangingisda ng Navotas. Over 200 fisherfolk benefited from the services and lectures provided by BFAR, TESDA, PESO, BFP, and PMP, covering livelihood opportunities, safety measures, and emergency response. A key highlight was the West Philippine Sea Advocacy, which raised awareness on maritime rights, sustainable fishing, and protecting countries' territorial waters. Leaflets were also distributed to further educate and empower the community. Navotas City Mayor John Ray Tiangco graced the event, reaffirming LGU support for the initiative that strengthened ties between the AFP, partner agencies, and the fishing community. This is Jessie reporting for AFP Community News, 1 AFP for stronger Philippines.
one AFP for a stronger Philippines.
Behold the latest military news update. This is AFP Community News, hosted by Rofh Suzon every 12 noon, Mondays to Fridays. Only here on DWDD Armed Forces Radio. One AFP for a stronger Philippines.
Ito ang DWDD 1134 kHz AM. Balita, impormasyon at musika. Ito ang DWDD AFP Radio. Boses ng Kawal Pilipino.
Kayo ay nakatutok sa DWDD AFP Radio. Kami po ay kasapi ng KBP, Kapisanan ng mga Broadcaster ng Pilipinas.